Been waiting for this one. It's Brian Baldinger, Baldy's Breakdowns. And Baldy, it's been a minute since we've chatted with you. And since then, the Cardinal season is potentially going down the toilet. They have lost 4 consecutive games, albeit by a combined 9 points. But just off the top here, like, what are you seeing from the Cardinals? What are they doing? But specifically, what are they not doing?
Well, I mean, it came down to, the Colts took the ball down 66 yards and they scored. And the Cardinals went down there, down to the 9-yard line, and they couldn't make a play from the 9-yard line to go win the game. They got the ball last. They got a chance. They had a good drive going. They made a lot of good plays on it. Big catch by Michael Wilson down the sideline, got him, inside the 10. They couldn't finish the drive. That's what it came down. It seemed like, whether you're losing to San Francisco or pick a team in this 4-game losing streak, they can't make a play at the end to win the game. And, that's the difference. This league, it's a 1-score league. It's a fourth-quarter league. Can you make the play, regardless of what happens during the game? Can you make the play when you have to win the game? The Colts did, and Arizona didn't last week.
We were waiting for this type of offensive performance. We weren't expecting it was going to be engineered by Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Do we have a quarterback controversy in your eyes here in the desert?
Yeah. He played better, I thought, than Kyler has. They led him to 400 yards of offense. He ran the offense really well. You got a 4-team running back in Michael Carter, made some plays for him. But I thought the offense moved. I thought, outside of 1 or 2 3-and-outs, they moved the ball on every single drive, and they had a chance. I thought he played really well. He scrambled when he had to make a couple of plays. But I thought the offense looked better than it has looked, and that's a really good football team right there that has played, really could be undefeated if they didn't have a boneheaded play by their wide receiver.
When you think about like how this could change the landscape of not only this season, but the impending offseason for the Cardinals, and could Kyler Murray be playing his final stretch of games for this franchise, Baldy? And I'll double down with you. The Cardinals had not had a prolific passing attack like that. Mm-hmm. And maybe we should reconsider our stance on Drew Petzing and some of the criticism. Certainly I am, if Jacoby Brissett can come out and couple this performance with a couple more like this.
Look, they're going through it in San Francisco. You play the hot hand. The guy's playing good. I don't care how much you're paying the other guy. It's just based on production. And Jacoby ran that offense the way it can look. Play action passes, pushed the ball down the field, found the open receiver. The ball came out on time. He wasn't getting hit a lot. I just thought it looked better. I could go back and break down play by play and go, this is what's better than what Kyler. But I thought it looked a whole lot better. And I think everybody that watched said that looks like a good offense right there. And, that's without your first 3 running backs and, maybe an offensive lineman, whatever. But regardless, I don't know. I thought they gave themselves a chance all the way to the very end, and if you score, honestly, Trey McBride got tackled in the end zone. I'm not making excuses, but he gets tackled there. Like a lot of times it gets called, you got first goal at the 1. And if you do, you're scoring in the 30s. And that's what you want to be able to do in this business, especially if you're on the road.
We'll get to the defense in their fourth quarter woes here in a segment. I want to stick with the Jacoby Brissett conversation because of a lot of things that you said and a lot of things that have been discussed after this performance. But there was this downfield passing attack that did not exist before this. I think it was like 7 combined to the first 5 weeks, big play passing plays from Kyler Murray, and they got 7 on Sunday alone from Jacoby Brissett. How did Jacoby unlock that? How did he and Drew Petzing achieve that goal on Sunday?
Well, they did a lot of play action, with Jacoby under center and just, getting some deep sets where you have time to get the ball down the field and you're holding the linebackers with your play action. And there's just a moment where they're freezing and allows your receivers to get down the field and run various route combinations where you can push the ball down the field. That's what the good offenses in this league are doing right now. You can't just drop 7 steps like Kurt Warner did back in the day, and throw it to Anquan and Larry. So, you got to be able to take your 7-step drops, play action, max protect, and run your speedo routes and your route combinations down there to get your chunks. And you need chunks to score. And I thought they did that. Like I said, that's the way it's supposed to look.
Cardinals have limited their play action with Kyler Murray for whatever reason out of the shot or out of the I formation. They've done it a little bit out of the shotgun. With Jacoby Brissett, as you just mentioned, was their dominant form of play. Can I just draw a conclusion that they can't do traditional play action with Kyler Murray. They feel not comfortable with it based on maybe his size. What do you think about the fact that they've essentially gone to an offense on Sunday that they haven't ran for the longevity of Kyler's tenure with Petzing?
I got to apologize, guys, because when I was watching this, I was going, does Kyler, like when I was watching Jacoby do these play action, I'm like, Kyler's under center, right, Brian? Like he's under center. Does he do these play action passes? I don't. So I should have gone back and really studied Kyler and how frequently they dial that up. But it seemed like he's primarily a shotgun quarterback where he's got better vision. Now I got to go research it and study it. It'd be worth my time to do it. But it felt like, in watching every game, it felt like they did it a lot more with Jacoby on Sunday.
They put him under center to run the ball, to hand off to the running back. But there is very minimal, and Bo can clean me up here, there is very minimal I formation, traditional play action with Kyler Murray. And I have to assume that that's because they feel like there are limitations with him being able to do that compared to Jacoby.
I think so too. And I don't know why otherwise, why wouldn't you be running that offense with Kyler? That's, that's what, look, you can go through the list of all the great offenses in this league right now. That's what they're doing. That's what Seattle's doing. That's what Tampa's doing. Their quarterbacks are under center, and they're, with straight stretch fake to the outside or I formation, faking the inside dive and getting set up and maxing things up, with 6, 7, 8 man protections and taking their shots. You have to do it in this league right now. Otherwise, if you let these guys just tee off and shotgun, good luck, because they're just going to overload one side and come after you. And, that's what's happening to shotgun offenses in this league.
Unfortunately, we were robbed of getting to see kind of Marvin Harrison Jr. play where his father starred and got his bust in Canton and was enshrined there. Pro Football Hall of Fame, 2 catches, then he suffered the concussion. But before that, there was the second half in Seattle. There was the first half against Tennessee, and then he's doesn't see a target in the second half of that game, that debacle, and then you have a decent start here. What have you seen from Marvin Harrison Jr.? Has there been progress in his game, in your opinion?
I'd just like to see, I'm going to be in Minnesota on Sunday. I'm going to see Justin Jefferson. I've seen, the Jamar. I've seen Nakua. I've seen the great receivers in this league. It just seems like they play the game with just a lot more energy and urgency than Marvin. Now, there's different styles in this business. Not everybody has to be, like a great route runner, and Marvin's not a great route runner. He's got size, but there just doesn't seem to be the urgency that I see. For example, if Kyler's getting out of the pocket, Jacoby's out of the pocket, the great receivers, Stephon Diggs, Jamar Chase, they are doing everything they can to get into that vision, they want the ball. Guys scrambling, a scramble drill, whatever, they're going wherever they got to go to get the ball. Like, I just don't see that urgency from Marvin. Now, not everybody does it. The Eagle receivers don't look like they're great at it right now, and they're struggling. But the great receivers in this game, I go back to Terrell Owens and different guys, like that quarterback's in trouble, I'm getting the ball. You saw it from Stephon Diggs all year right now. Like, they are hungry for the football. They're going to get every one of those loose plays where this quarterback's got to get loose. Like, that's what Travis Kelce has done his whole career with Patrick Mahomes. And that's just something I think that you get a lot of catches, when things break down. When the X's and O's aren't working, you got to come back and go help your quarterback out. And I'd like to see that from Marvin.
Baldy, flipping to the defensive side of the ball, fourth quarter woes have been a little bit of a bugaboo for this team. And again, I was willing to give them grace because the offense just was so underperforming each of the, during the 4-game Looney streak or even before that. But against Indianapolis specifically, like they had a really difficult time.
Yeah.
Can we, I know Nick Rallis can coach. I know Jonathan Gannon can coach defense. Do we chalk this up to they need Darius Robinson, they need Walter Nolan, they need these players that aren't available? Or is it more of a schematics thing where maybe they have to change up some of the formations?
A little bit of a mix right there. Indianapolis has a really productive offense. They got the leading rusher in the league. He's tough to contain. They got a good offensive line. But, so what? Josh Downs killed him. Tyler Warren killed him. They got beat by a lot of different guys by scheme and their play action passes and what they do offensively and how they attack. I would have thought, honestly, that, since Jonathan and Shane had, coached with each other, that they'd have a better feel for what the Colts would do.
Right.
And I didn't really get that, Colts to take that drive 66 yards right down the field and score like that, it looked way too easy to me.
Yeah, they got Michael Pittman Jr. out of the game, but what you mentioned, I mean, Steichen was getting linebackers on Josh Downs and Ty Warren, and you're going to lose that. Seemingly every time down the field.
But it's about matchups, and Ty Warren, he hurt him for sure. Josh Downs is a good slot receiver. We know what his role is. But, they also protected Daniel Jones, where I know, Calais got a hit at the end, but, they still completed the pass down the field. Pierce hadn't done much. He'd been out for a little bit. So, there was just sort of the next guy up for him. But I just thought I just thought the Colts kind of, you put up 31 points in this business the way they did. That's not a good day for any defense.
Baldy, I want to take kind of a 5,000-foot view of this team and this coaching staff specifically. We talked about it ad nauseum now. 4 straight losses. The NFC West, probably the best division in the NFL, or tied for first. And you're in a division with, multiple, I think, Hall of Fame level head coaches. And now you've got a situation for Jonathan Gannon to navigate where quarterback controversy, is Kyler Murray the guy long-term? Is Jonathan Gannon bound to be here, beyond this year? What's your breakdown, the overall assessment of where this franchise sits right now?
Well, they dubbed themselves an early crypt. You lose 4 in a row, the sky's falling. I don't care what city you're in. It's sky's falling. I mean, it's been over a month since a win. They don't know what that feels like. That feeling of winning dissipates real quickly. And so you're hearing all this chatter out there about the coaches, about the player, the whole thing, quarterbacks. That happens when you lose. And so it's life is tough. Life is tough right now. I mean, you can't really think about the future because they've got to stop the bleeding right now. And you might have to take some crazy chances right now. You might have to be more aggressive than you want to be on both sides of the ball. Like, you've got to stop this. And we see ups. It doesn't matter who you play. We see upsets every week. We see teams that we think should win. They can't figure it out. It comes down to a play or not a play, at the end of the game. You saw that on Monday night with Atlanta in Washington. Came down to a play, just being able to take a handoff and hand it off, and they didn't get it. The other team wins. It's one play, and they're you could say they're a play short. I could draw up a play in each of these 4 losses that could have turned it around, but they're not making it. And so you could say that we're close, and I'm sure that's their mindset, but that's not how this business works. This business is strictly winning and losing, and they've got to figure out a way right now, in the worst way, to win a game and just stop it. Because if this thing can spiral down real fast in this business.
Yeah, I mean, last question. I mean, the incoming Green Bay Packers at 3-1-1, one of the teams that we've deemed one of the top in the conference. How can they possibly get right against Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, and crew?
Well, I mean, Green Bay's had their problems too. They lost. They tied Dallas and gave up 40, I think, in doing it. So they've had some issues. Their defense doesn't look as good as it did a year ago, even with Micah Parsons. It doesn't look as good. Teams have moved the ball against them. They're a well-coached football team, but they're not exactly getting the ball to their star wide receiver, in with the way they thought they would. Matthew Golden has not been lighting it up, and he was drafted, high in the first round to go be that guy, and he hasn't exactly been that. I would, think that you make life really difficult for Jordan Love. That'd be a start, because he will throw it up. He could throw you 1 or 2 in the game the way he plays. He plays aggressively. He's got a great arm. But I would say that, hitting Jordan Love early in this game would go a long ways to winning this game.
Baldy, where are you headed this weekend, my guy?
I am headed to Minnesota to see the Eagles and the Vikings play. So we'll see if the Eagles can get out of their slump that they're in. It doesn't look good, but the Vikings haven't exactly lit it up either. We'll see who plays quarterback for the Vikings this week.
It's going to be fascinating. We're all going to be watching. We're going to be listening and also seeing the Baldy breakdowns, what you can find on your social channels. Baldy, always great to catch up with you. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Talk to you next week.